Have you ever wondered, why is it that we know certain habits aren't good for us, and yet we keep repeating them, day after day, like staying up too late, even though mornings feel so tiring, or eating salty, oily foods, even after the doctor's warning? I understand that feeling, because I've been there too, but today, I just want to sit here with you, not to scold or judge, but to share a few small stories, and show you how I gently changed two of my bad habits, slowly, kindly, and with love for myself. First thing, sleeping late/sleeping too little. There was a long stretch of time when I stayed up way too late, not because I had anything important to do, not because I was busy, like in my younger days, just because I didn't want to go to bed. I would sit there, in the quiet of the night, turning on the TV or scrolling on my phone, without much purpose. Sometimes I'd watch an old show, sometimes a cat video, and other times nothing at all, just scrolling, mindlessly. There were nights when I looked at the clock, it was nearly 2 a.m., and still, my eyes were wide open. My mind, wandering. I used to think, I'm retired now. I can sleep and wake whenever I want. Why force myself? But that kind of freedom slowly took away the things I valued most, my health, and my peace of mind. What does science say about sleep and aging? I started doing a little research. Not out of curiosity, but because my body was crying out for help. Every morning I woke up, I didn't feel like myself anymore, and I discovered something interesting. As we age, the structure of our sleep changes. According to sleep experts, older adults tend to sleep less, not because they need less sleep, but because the deep sleep phase, the one that helps the body truly recover, gets shorter. At the same time, things like aches and pains, mild anxiety, or simply lack of daytime activity all contribute to poor sleep quality. Staying up late isn't just sleeping late. It's not just about waking up late in the morning, it's about disrupting your internal clock, your body's natural rhythm. You see, our bodies operate on a very specific day-night cycle. When it gets dark, the body produces melatonin, a hormone that helps us feel sleepy. But if you sit under bright lights, or stare at your phone or TV screen, artificial light suppresses melatonin, keeping you awake longer, and making your sleep lighter, and then you fall into a familiar cycle. You can't sleep at night, you're tired during the day but afraid to nap too long, and come nighttime, you're wide awake again. Over time, you'll notice loss of interest in things, trouble remembering or focusing, mood swings, irritation, and worst of all, even after a full night in bed, you wake up feeling like you never truly rested. How did I start changing? I'm not the kind of person who's good at strict routines. I don't use alarm clocks. I don't meditate like those YouTube tutorials suggest, but I chose the simplest approach. I made peace with the evening. I turned the lights off earlier. I turned off the TV. I placed my phone just out of reach. Instead, I played soft piano music, or read a few pages of an old book. Nothing too heavy, just some classic stories, or a bit of poetry. And you know what? When you stop overstimulating your mind, it stops resisting you. Gradually, I started feeling sleepy naturally. Second thing, eating like we used to, and why it's so hard to change. I still remember the way breakfast used to smell in my parents' house. Bacon sizzling on the stove, eggs fried in a pool of butter, toast golden and crispy, drenched in salted butter. That was love. That was home. Back then, nobody talked about cholesterol or sodium. No one counted calories or measured cooking oil. We ate what we had. We ate what made us feel full, warm, and connected, and for many years, that's exactly how I continued to eat. So, when the doctor first told me my blood pressure was rising, and my cholesterol was too high. I nodded politely. But deep inside, I thought, how bad can it really be? I've been eating like this my whole life. Food is more than nutrition, it's memory. You see, for many of us, especially in the West, food is tradition. It's Sunday pot roast with mashed potatoes. It's the big holiday dinner, where the table is full and no one dares mention the word healthy. It's comfort. It's routine, so when someone tells us we need to change how we eat, it doesn't feel like they're just talking about food, it feels like they're asking us to give up a part of ourselves. But here's what I've learned, we don't have to throw away everything we love, we just need to slowly shift the balance. Because while food carries memory, it also affects how we feel today. And when your joints ache, when your energy dips mid-afternoon, when your stomach feels heavy and bloated. After every meal, that's your body trying to speak, and if we're wise, we listen. The science behind our cravings. Why do we crave salty, fatty foods as we age? It turns out, our taste buds change over time. As we grow older, our sense of taste and smell becomes less sensitive. What used to be just enough salt now tastes bland. What used to be rich now feels right. So we tend to add more salt, more butter, more sauce. Not because we're being careless, but because we're trying to feel something. And our brains, still wired like they were decades ago, associate fat and salt with comfort, safety, satisfaction. That's why diets that feel restrictive almost always fail, because they don't just cut calories, they cut emotion. What helped me start changing? Gently. I didn't wake up one morning and throw away my favorite foods. I didn't become a health guru or start counting almonds. I started small. I used half the salt in my scrambled eggs, but added a bit of fresh herbs for flavor. I swapped out my frying pan for a non-stick skillet, and learned how to dry sauté vegetables. I discovered that roasting carrots with just a touch of olive oil and thyme made them sweeter than I expected. It wasn't a diet, it was a quiet shift, a conversation with my own body. What if we tried this, just once? And more often than not, my body said, thank you. Tiny, lasting changes that don't feel like punishment. Here's what the experts say, and what I found to be true. Sustainable change doesn't come from guilt, it comes from curiosity and compassion. Don't aim for perfect meals. Aim for better balance. Keep the flavors you love, but reimagine how you cook them. Instead of processed gravy, try a homemade broth with garlic and onions. Instead of fried chicken, try oven-baked with herbs and paprika. Instead of eating out of habit, try eating out of kindness to yourself. It's not about never eating bacon again. It's about choosing how often, and how much, and learning that joy doesn't come only from taste, but from how you feel after the meal is over, light, satisfied, alive. How to overcome the fear of dieting and gently keep new habits. I used to be afraid of the word diet. The moment I heard it, I pictured myself chewing on raw lettuce while everyone else enjoyed roast chicken. I imagined being told, no sugar, no butter, no joy. I thought, if I can't eat what I love, then what's the point of enjoying life at all? But then I realized, dieting isn't as scary as I made it out to be. Because dieting doesn't mean eating miserably, it doesn't mean giving everything up, it doesn't mean punishing yourself. Dieting, at its heart, just means making better choices for your body, cutting back a little on what weighs you down, and still feeling happy at the dinner table. You don't have to give up salt entirely, just a little less, and add some fresh herbs for flavor. You don't have to cut out all oils, just pick healthier ones, and cook a little differently. Instead of frying, roast. Instead of heavy sauces, make your own with garlic and broth. These are not sacrifices, they're simply gentle shifts. A lot of people say, I live alone. Cooking feels like too much effort, and I get that. Some days, I feel the same, but simple meals don't have to be mindless. A bowl of soup from yesterday, steamed veggies with a boiled egg, a splash of low-sodium soy sauce. That's still a good meal, if you balance it with care. The secret? Prepare a little extra in advance, just enough to make tomorrow easier. Or maybe you live with your children and grandkids, and everyone at the table still eats the old way, salty, rich, heavy. You feel like you don't want to be the odd one out, but you don't have to change the whole table. Scoop your soup before they add more salt. Keep a small plate of steamed greens just for you. Make your own dipping sauce, lighter, more balanced. Quiet changes that speak volumes to your health. Some people say, "I can't quit sugar. I love it too much." I used to say the same, then I tried swapping sugar with honey. I started using less, and I discovered the sweetness in roasted squash, in ripe bananas, even in brown rice, was enough. Your taste buds, if given the chance, can learn to love subtle sweetness again. You don't need iron willpower to keep new habits. I'm not the most disciplined person. I forget things. I lose motivation, but I follow 3 simple rules that help me stay on track. 1. Don't force. Just try. I don't say, "I'll never eat this again." I just say, "Let's eat a little less today and see how it feels." If it doesn't work, try again tomorrow. Habits don't change overnight, but they do change. Gently. 2. Keep what you love, but cook it with care. I still enjoy my toast with butter, but now, I spread it thinner. Same flavor, less burden. 3. Let yourself slip sometimes. If you eat something salty today, if you enjoy a slice of cake, or sip a sweet drink, it's okay. What matters most is this: come back to your path tomorrow. Don't throw away a whole journey because of one meal. We eat to live well, not to feel trapped. Food is not just fuel, it's also the way we care for ourselves. You don't need the perfect diet, you just need to listen to your body, and treat it like an old, trusted friend, because when you do, your body will say, "Thank you. I feel lighter. I feel alive." There's still time to live well, joyfully, and truly. So here we are. We've just walked through 2 habits that seem small, yet deeply shape our daily life: sleep and food, 2 things many of us, myself included, have once taken for granted, and then we realize they are the roots of health, of peace, and of the simple joys in living. I know change isn't easy. We know staying up late isn't good. We know salty, heavy meals aren't helping. But still, the night comes, and we're awake, the table is set, and we season it the same, not because we don't care, but because it's what we're used to. It's familiar, it's part of us, and if you've ever felt disappointed in yourself, if you've thought, "I'm too old to change now," I want to tell you this, as gently as I can: it's never too late to live better. Every day is a quiet chance to begin again. Some mornings, I still wake up tired. Some meals, I still crave the way things used to be. But I've learned to see those moments, not as failures, but as gentle pauses, in a long, beautiful journey. Because real change never shouts. It arrives slowly, kindly, one day at a time. You don't need to be perfect. Just softer with yourself. Sleep 15 minutes earlier. Add 1 more vegetable to your plate. Walk a little, or maybe today, just drink water, take a deep breath, and smile once. Taking care of yourself is not selfish, it's love. Some people say, "I live for my kids, my grandkids. I don't matter much anymore." But my dear friend, it's exactly because you love them, that your health matters more than ever. Be well, so you can stay beside them, care for yourself, and keep telling stories, and laughing, and living, for a long, long time. Living long doesn't mean much, unless we live well, and to live well, there's no medicine greater than a good night's sleep and a kind, nourishing meal. A message from me, to you, if you're listening right now. That means you're already ready. You may not have started yet, but in your heart, you're already open, and that is the first and most beautiful step. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm just someone who's been there, who once felt tired, stuck, and discouraged, but slowly, I've learned to care for myself, with patience, with grace, and with love. Change is a gift you give yourself. You don't need anyone to see it. You don't need applause. Every time you choose to sleep early, to cook a lighter meal, to treat your body with care, you're giving yourself the gentlest, truest gift, a gift of health, a gift of peace, a gift of self-respect. There is still time, time to start again, time to walk lighter, time to live slower and fuller, time to live with more joy and less regret. So tonight, I hope you sleep well. Tomorrow, may your meal nourish you deeply, and in every small moment, may you remember this: you are still alive, you are still growing, and you still have so much to give, to the world, and to yourself. If you've made it to the end of this video, thank you. Truly, and if even one word here made you feel understood, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, not because of the numbers, but because I believe we all deserve a space where we're seen, heard, and gently encouraged to take care of ourselves, one breath, one bite, one better day at a time.